Shimen, Xian Shegmen, Ni Hao. First of all, I want to thank GETCO for this invitation and for its great achievements in the field of electric connectivity within China and within all the world. Related to Argentina, we have a very ambitious program in the field of energies. We expect to have for the year 2025, 25% of our energy network based in renewable energies. That would represent 9.5 gigawatts. We have to think that in the year 2006, all our stock of renewable energy was just 800 megawatts. What we are doing in the last 2 years. In the last 2 years, we awarded in wind power 3.7 thousand megawatts and of that amount, 20%, around 20% are in the hands of Chinese companies. In the case of solar programs, we have awarded 2.5 thousand, but in this case, 45% have Chinese participation. Within the solar program, in November began the work for the construction of the most important solar plant in the north part of Argentina with 300 megawatts that is going to be, it's an execution already in the hands of a Chinese company. We have also begun in November of last year 2 very important hydroelectric plants in the southern part of Argentina for 1.4 thousand megawatts. And we have in the nuclear field, we hope that during this first semester is going to be signed a contract to build 2 nuclear plants for 1.7 megawatts, also with China. In the case of the plants in the south, it's Zhejiang also. That shows very clearly that we are working in a very important way, trying to ameliorate the profile of our electrical network, and that China is a major partner of Argentina. It's a strategic, a major partner. The percentage of the participation of financing and companies in our program is really very high. We are very proud of that. Our strategic relation with China is working. It's going to keep working in the future. We think that the best scheme for the world is increasing cooperation and not confrontation. And even though we hear some war drums in this moment, I'm sure that is going to, and I don't have any doubt that we need both the United and China, of course, the countries of Latin America, the countries of Africa together. And this idea of GETCO to work worldwide connectivity program, I think that it's a great contribution in terms of building an atmosphere of permanent peace for this century. There is no doubt that if we can achieve in the next 20 years this international grid relating all the networks in the electrical field, there is no doubt that it's going to be very hard the possibility of a war. And we come from a 20th century with 3 world wars, many regional wars. It was a very bloody century. And the perspective of building a century of peace is very closely related to the issue that we are discussing today. I want just to point out, if you see the map, I am going to speak now like an ambassador at large. I think that the ambassador of Chile is around, and I hope that to have his permission to do it. But if you see what it means, what we call the ABC, Argentina, Brazil, Chile, as an axe that put together the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean. Of course, you are going to see in green, Brazil, in blue, Argentina, in yellow, Chile. And you compare with China, you are going to see that it's quite similar, the size. We're speaking of around 300 million people. And at the same time, you will see that there is 3 countries that are very closely related. One is in gray, that is Bolivia, and the other in orange is Paraguay, and the violet is Uruguay. They are part of the ABC, without any doubt, specifically in the energy network, because Bolivia produces gas, natural gas, for Brazil and for Argentina, and in the case of Paraguay, there is 2 great hydroelectric plants that produce electricity also for Argentina and Brazil. Then, of course, such an extended surface with a very reasonable and stable political situation. Nowadays, even though, as you know, Brazil, our big and most important partner, it's currently in a political crisis. I don't have any doubt that in next year, with a general election, that crisis is going to be over. Then there is no doubt there is a lot to do together, because the major Chinese companies are working already in the region. My final thought is that with 2,000 points of pollution that we are suffering now in Beijing, that have to be aware of what a long journey we have to face from now on to accomplish all our so ambitious goals and programs. Thank you very much.